Hey guys, we finally have the cost breakdown for our kitchen renovation project. It took us quite a while to accumulate the cost of everything. We do have all of our receipts tallied. I am so excited to bring this to you tonight. So first, I want to let you know that Art is currently out in the garage working on our next project, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek of that at the end of the video. So stay tuned. It has something to do with my grandson who is here visiting right now from North Carolina. We're hoping to have that finished in the next couple of days. So as I mentioned previously, while we were editing the first video, we realized that we left a few things out. And one of those things was the cabinet refinishing. So rather than replacing the cabinets, which would have been a very costly expense, we decided to just kind of resurface, in a way, the cabinets ourselves. So all I did was I took the cabinets down, kind of buffed them up a little bit. I really liked the rustic look and I was trying to kind of keep it that way, but the cabinets were very beat up and rough looking after 10 years of us living here. And the house is now 20 years old, so they needed a little bit of fixing up. So I'm going to show you some before images of what they looked like before I did anything to them. And then after I roughed them up with the sander, I cleaned them really good, and then I just put a clear coat of polyurethane over it just to seal it. And then of course I added the new hardware, which I got from Amazon, and it just really brought new life to the entire kitchen. We do have another project in mind for later where we're going to take the trim off the top of the cabinets closest to the sink, and we're going to go ahead and build boxes to extend those cabinets all the way to the ceiling just for some extra storage. And then we're going to find a way to build in a pull-out step stool so that I don't have to go hunt the step stool down every time I need to get something out of those upper cabinets. I want something right there that gives me access to those cabinets easily. So that'll be a future project that you should watch for. Okay, so now let's kind of start from the beginning of the video, and I'm going to go through every scene and tell you the cost breakdown, and we'll put in some clips. So to add the electrical outlet above the fireplace to move the TV over there, Art said he couldn't really calculate how much he spent on each individual thing because he bought so much of it at one time, and then it served its purpose for multiple uses during this entire project. So he said for all of the electrical, including like where he had to add in electrical above the bar area for that new light and everything, he said that total came to about $200. So there was that. And then we raised that pantry shelf, and there was no cost involved on that. And then we did build those 2 side cabinets in the pantry, and that was about $10 worth of wood. We already had the stain on hand. We already had all those screws and everything. And then the spice shelf that we built over the stove, again, that was scrap wood left over from 1x4s that we had bought for the pantry cabinets. So that was no additional cost. Then the cabinet door spice racks, for the 4-pack, that was $18.99. And then we removed the wall and the archway, and I did find more photos, so I want to show you guys more of that entire process. And then that did not cost anything to take all of that down. That was just demolition. And then the supporting ceiling beams that Art added in, he said that was about $120. And then the drywall, spackle, paint, and stain, anything extra that we purchased, I actually did find a receipt in my Home Depot account for all of that stuff, and it came to $21.97. And then the back door that we built, I mean, the renovation of the back door, you know, we added in those built-in blinds. And I'm going to show you because I kind of explained it, but I don't think I explained it very well. So I opened the back door to show you guys. I don't know if you're aware, but those glass doors like that, they actually have a frame around them that you don't really see because there's a little plastic piece over the screw, so you don't notice it. But if you pop out that plastic piece, there's a screw there, you can unscrew it and that frame comes off of the door. And that's how you have like that double panel of glass. This was new to me. Maybe other people are aware of this, but I was not. So anyway, we popped off that front glass frame, and that's how we were able to add in the frame that I got for free that had the blinds built in. So that's how we did that. And like Art had mentioned before, it was about 3 inches too long. So we just kind of centered it over the window so that it was only 1.5 inches above and 1.5 inches below. And then we bolted it in and painted the door and the frame and everything. So it turned out really good. And then the deadbolt and the passage knob that we purchased for the back door, the deadbolt was $24.99 on Amazon. The passage knob was $20.88. Now, the cool thing about that is that when I looked up my receipt on Amazon, I did see if you are interested in those knobs, they are actually cheaper now than they were when we bought them back in 2022. So I will link those in the description, but the deadbolt, it was $24.99 when we got it. It is now $19.99. I'm thinking about buying another one for the front door, so that was good to know. And then the passage knob was $20.88, and it is now $18.07. So anyway, just wanted to pass that on. The built-in water dish for Rocky, we made that strictly out of scrap materials, so there was no cost involved in that. And then the brick wall panels, this part might surprise you guys, but those were only $43.98 a panel. When I first started looking into those, they were like $32 a panel, and that's why I always wanted to do it, because I knew I could do it for under $100 and it would make such a big difference. I did find the receipt for it, and the amount that we spent was $143.71. And then, of course, I did touch up the grout lines and kind of buffed out the seams and everything. So I already had the white paint, I already had grout and all of that stuff. So I just used what I had on hand to do all of that. And then I did trim out the window with that wood frame. We didn't really talk about that, but I'm going to show you some pictures of before we trimmed out that window. And then you'll see in these photos how me and Aiden were kind of playing around with Art's light that he had built and trying to figure out, because I knew that nook was kind of dark over there, especially since the light that we put in above the table only takes one bulb, and so it doesn't really illuminate it very well over there. So I was trying to figure out a way to get more light in that corner. So that's why we were playing with the lights, and we ultimately decided, hey, if we hang this above the window, then I'm going to use 1x3s and 1x4s and 1x6s to frame out the window, and then I can run an extension cord behind the wood. And so that's what I did, because I don't like cords to show. So I will pop in a picture to show you guys, but I kind of ran it. I bolted. I used a command strip, a command Velcro strip. I have the extension cord just stuck up there behind the wood, and then the plug-in just plugs straight into that extension cord, and nobody ever knows. It gives us a lot of extra light over there. I really like it, and it's just really cool that Art made that before we ever even met. The shelf on the brick wall that I had put together, those were some shelf brackets that I had from like some library shelves that I used to have in my little office nook in my bedroom. And I had taken those down a while back, so we just had those brackets out in the garage. So I spray painted them black. We had I think it's a 1x6 or a 1x8 that I put up there. So I just stained it with stain that I already had, and then I just sat it up there, and it actually looked really good. So we just kept it there. And then I kind of created a feature wall out of that underneath it, you know, with all of my decor, which most of that decor came from the Dollar General. So I didn't spend much on any of that stuff. And some of it I already had on hand too, of course. Now let's talk about my dining room table, because that was quite a steal. For $70, I bought that thing. And then I did have to go through an entire tub of paint stripper to get all of that turquoise and black paint off of there. And RJ and my grandson were actually here visiting at that same time last year when we were working on that project. So he was helping me get all of that paint removed. And when he came back, later on in the year and saw how much the table had changed. He couldn't believe it. The paint stripper and then an extra bottle of stain that I purchased, that was $24.98. I did find the receipt for that. And then there was another receipt for polyurethane, furring strips, Gorilla Glue, and liquid nails. And that was $16.87. And then refinishing the cabinet doors, of course, I already spoke about that, but that was just a matter of sanding them down. And then I just mentioned the polyurethane. And then the cabinet hardware in there that I bought from Amazon, I bought 2 boxes and they were $27.99 at the time. And now, that's another thing that's actually cheaper now. That cabinet hardware is $15.99 for a box. And I think it was a box of 30 knobs, but I will pop a picture up for that and I'll include that link in the description. And then the light fixture over the table, that was a 2-pack. And for the 2-pack, it was $40.99 on Amazon. And so the other light that matches it is what we hung in our entryway. So I'll show you guys a picture of that as well. In some of our before pictures, you might notice the entryway was painted white. And during all of our renovation, I went ahead and painted all of that the dark gray color of the trim. And I'm not so sure that I love that because it's very dark and it made the entryway feel extremely dark after going from white. So I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do there, but I do think it needs to change at some point. Okay, and then the light fixture over the bar, that was $49.99, but Amazon is showing that it is currently unavailable. And I looked around, I could not find another light fixture like it anywhere in the same price range. Most of them that are like that are $105 and above. So I could not find that at all, anywhere near that price range. And then we did have to build out the bar top. And that was another thing that I thought of as we were editing the original video. I explained that our granite fell through, but I didn't explain why we had to change the current countertop. So I don't have any really close-up pictures, but I'm going to try to show you guys as best as I can through some of the images that we have. Whenever we were trying to build the bar, obviously, when we took that wall down, we wanted to extend the countertop out, and we wanted to extend it out about 12 inches or so that we could put bar stools there. Otherwise, you know, you couldn't really put a bar stool there because then you'd have to be leaning over the counter, you know what I mean? So we had to build up a base to be able to extend that out. If we were still getting the granite that we originally had been promised, then we were just going to have the granite cut to specifications, right? But when that fell through, then we had to kind of scramble around and figure out, okay, how can we build out this space and just do laminate? Because we at the time did not have the money to do granite ourselves, and we still don't. That if we do that, it would be way in the future. So Art, he said he spent about $25 to create a base for that. It was about $400 for the roll of laminate and all of the glue and all of that stuff that you would need for it. So anyway, so we spent about $425 to complete that project. And of course, as you guys know, we still haven't done the other side yet. So that part is still up in the air. Okay, one thing we forgot to show too is I did buy a 2-pack of this spinning spatula holder, and I put one over by my spatulas and it holds some of the spatulas right there, and then I put one over by the sink that holds like our cup and bottle brushes and everything. So that was $9.99 for the 2-pack on Amazon, and it's still that price today. Our Harbor Freight kitchen cart, that was $279.99. And then the pipe shelving that we installed up above that, that was $25.99. And then the wood shelves, that was just I think it's 2x10 or 2x12, I'm not sure. But I did find a receipt for that, and that was just $26.33. And then I found my receipt from the Home Depot for the Workstation Sink, and that was $294.08. And then the metal chairs, I mentioned to you guys that I did purchase those black, and then I spray painted them white in an effort to save some money. I even have some photos showing where they were black originally. So anyway, that was $79.99, and those currently on Amazon are now $105.99, so they have increased. And then the final thing, I did forget to show this. I've got some pictures to show you now, but I did also install an under the sink pull out shelf underneath the kitchen sink, and that was to make up for where Art built that box in for Rocky's water dish. So that took up a part of the storage space underneath the sink. So that's why I bought this pull-out shelf, because it is two-tiered, so it kind of doubles the amount of space, and then I'm able to slide it in and out. Right now, all of my cleaning supplies are in there, so it's a little messy, so I don't actually pull it in and out right now, but I could if I cleaned it up. So anyway, we've just had so many other things going on. I haven't organized that space yet, but we're getting there. Here is the total cost of our entire renovation. And then remember, I was going to give you guys a little sneak peek at what is to come in the next video. So I'm going to end with a peek at the video that I sent to Art the other day. And that is what he is working on currently. So that's going to be our next video. So watch next week for a follow-up on this project. Okay, so now with my grandbaby here for the week, we've got the toys at the end of the night. We're able to just kind of shove them all over here to pick them up out of the floor. So what I'm wondering is if we have enough scrap wood out in the garage to build like a toy box type thing right here. I'm thinking if it were about the height of the window, and if it opened up, but then also could open outward, like two doors open outward, so that we could just easily shove everything in there. That would be really awesome. And then we could make like a bench top so that it also functions as extra seating when it's not being used as a toy box. We could either make it built in or just have it just sitting there. Either way, but that would just make it so much easier to keep everything clean and actually add extra seating in here as well. And then remember to go the second mile today for someone in your life and with your resources, which that project that Art's working on is all scrap stuff that he found in the garage. Anyway, have a great evening and thanks for watching.